The NordicTrack T Series 10 treadmill is from NordicTrack's most affordable treadmill line, but that doesn't mean you miss out on the features that make NordicTrack and iFIT appealing. I explore the treadmill's performance, training content, and more now. Welcome to treadmillreviews.com. I'm Kaylee, and this is your deep dive into the NordicTrack T Series 10's performance, functionality, and training options. I'm going to be paying special attention to who this treadmill is for and how I would use it in a fitness routine throughout this review. But as always, please like and subscribe if you're searching for new fitness equipment. I test a ton of cardio machines, so I'm happy to help you find what you're looking for. Your support allows me to keep making these reviews, so if you decide to purchase this treadmill, you can use our link in the description box. We earn a commission if you do, but it does not increase the cost of the treadmill for you. Now let's get back to the fun stuff. The NordicTrack T Series 10 has all the makings of a running treadmill. In fact, it's super similar to the NordicTrack commercial series to the point that sometimes I have a hard time telling them apart at a glance. The frame feels a bit lighter than some of the other running treadmills we test, but it's still about 200 pounds. It also has a maximum weight capacity of 325 pounds, which is pretty nice. It has a folding frame, and the deck is actually pretty light, so it's not too hard to fold and unfold often. Plus, it has hydraulic assistance to help you lift and lower the deck. It has a kick release bar, so you just press it with your foot and push the deck a little bit, and then it will lower softly to the ground on its own. Moving the treadmill around isn't too difficult. I can tilt it back and roll it around on its transport wheels without help. It would be much harder to do on carpet, and even treadmill mats can be tricky to roll over, so just keep that in mind. With a motor power of 3 continuous horsepower, the T Series 10 just hits our standard for what we consider a true running treadmill. I like this treadmill for beginner runners or someone who trains mostly outside and needs a backup for bad weather. If you run less than 30 miles or so per week, this treadmill might be a good match for you. If you walk, it's a great match, even for your toughest training. If you're sharing the treadmill with someone else, factor that in too. 2 really dedicated runners, for instance, will probably want something a little more powerful. The NordicTrack T Series 10 is a decent treadmill for HIIT workouts or sprints. The speed changes are moderately fast and the treadmill goes up to 12 miles per hour, but it's not my favorite for hill intervals. The incline adjustments are a bit slower, so it's best for endurance incline efforts rather than hill sprints. The running deck certainly gives you enough room to hit the top speed. It's 20 inches wide by 60 inches long. I feel like I have plenty of room on this treadmill deck. One really unique feature is the adjustable cushioning. I must admit that I don't notice a huge difference between the cushioning being turned on or off. It's also a little tedious to adjust because you have to rotate each of the 6 shock absorbers individually. Still, it's a cool feature, and I plan on continuing to experiment with it to see if I notice any difference with more time and data. NordicTrack spoiled me with a tablet rack on the T Series 10's predecessor, so I'm a little sad to see it go. That said, there are plenty of other awesome features to check out. This treadmill has your standard 2 water bottle holders, so there's a place to stash your phone, even if it's not the most convenient to view. The storage compartments are pretty sturdy, and I haven't had any issue with anything tipping out of them. The fan keeps you nice and cool. I wish the vent angle were adjustable, but at least it's powerful enough. The speakers are plenty loud. You have a dual set right below the screen. They face toward you to keep the audio nice and clear. You also get treadmill essentials like the safety key and console buttons for starting and stopping the treadmill, as well as for adjusting the speed, incline, fan, and volume. But let's move on to the screen. It's a 10-inch touchscreen that tilts up and down so you can get a better viewing angle. Unfortunately, it does not rotate side to side like some of NordicTrack's other screens, so just keep that in mind. If you want to train with iFIT for yoga and strength classes, you can still access those on your phone, tablet, or smart TV. Those will give you a better viewing experience. The screen is on the smaller side, but I didn't have too much trouble interacting with it. I think if you are a lot taller than me, you might not like it as much. For reference, I'm 5'4". So the screen is how you connect to the iFIT platform, which is a really central component to this T Series 10 treadmill. If you don't want to subscribe, I don't think NordicTrack is the best fit for you. Getting around the login screen and only having access to the manual training and maybe a few featured workouts if you create a free account probably isn't ideal. iFIT is an awesome service with really an endless amount of training content. It already has more classes than I could take in a lifetime, and more are constantly being added. There are over 100 iFIT coaches, and classes have been filmed on all 7 continents. Yes, even Antarctica. So it's not too hard to find something that suits you. My favorite way to train with iFIT is using the ActivePulse feature. With this feature, you pair a compatible heart rate monitor. My Garmin works, but heads up, Apple Watches do not. When you have your monitor paired and ActivePulse turned on, iFIT will just observe your heart rate for a couple of minutes. Then the preset speed will tailor to your heart rate. If you're supposed to be in zone 2, it will adjust the speed until you're in that zone. If you move out of that zone, the treadmill will slow down. It's super cool. Just make sure you have your heart rate zones input correctly and the maximum speed set just in case. You aren't limited to just watching iFIT classes. Even if you want automatic incline and resistance, you can have the class running in the background and watch one of the third-party apps available. These include Netflix, Prime Video, Pluto TV, Spotify, Audible, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. You can also stream them when training in any of the other training options, but you can only access them with an active iFIT subscription. Speaking of the other training options, you can create your own workout by making individual intervals or setting a target goal. Think a time, distance, or calorie target. There are also several template workouts. This style of workout is also what's available if you create a free iFIT account. They show the manual training screen, but you have automatic speed and incline adjustments. The Google Maps feature allows you to draw a route pretty much anywhere in the world. Your incline will automatically adjust to match the route you created, and you get full control over the speed. Your icon will progress along the route so you can track your progress. I like to use it to recreate routes I'm familiar with or to preview race courses. Overall, iFIT really adds to the experience on the NordicTrack T Series 10, and they're designed to work together, and I recommend them that way. All right, so now I'm gonna walk and run a bit on the NordicTrack T Series 10 so you can see and hear how it performs. Right now, I'm just walking at the minimum speed, which is 1 mile per hour. We'll take it up a little bit faster to 3 miles per hour. So I don't really feel too much of the cushioning while I'm just walking. I mean, it does feel nice. It's not as firm as walking on pavement. But you're really gonna notice it a lot more when you start to run. So with that, let's go up to 7 miles per hour. And I can definitely feel the cushioning a bit more now that I'm running. And it gets up to speed fairly fast, which is nice. All right, so now that we're back down to 3 miles per hour, I'm gonna go to the max incline, which is 12%. So while the treadmill is reasonably quiet, the incline motor is a little bit louder. You're probably able to hear a little bit of that now. Okay, so now the treadmill is at the top of its maximum incline, 12%. It does not decline. So if you're taking an iFIT class where there are downhill segments, this treadmill is just gonna be at a flat grade instead. Still, I really like it. Not having decline is kind of an okay trade-off for the more budget-friendly price that this treadmill's at. Top 3 things I love about this treadmill are the lower price compared to most NordicTrack treadmills, the training and entertainment content available with iFIT, and the soft cushioning. I was a little disappointed that the 2 cushioning settings weren't super distinct, but I'm happy with how this treadmill feels underfoot. Keep in mind that the features are limited without iFIT, and you really need this subscription to make the T Series 10 worth your while, whether you're a walker or runner. That wraps this review of the NordicTrack T Series 10 treadmill. If you're looking for more details, check out my written review, which I've linked in the description, or leave me a comment with any questions or concerns. I do my best to reply to all of them. I'm Kaylee from treadmillreviews.com, and thanks again for watching.